Hey everybody, it's Big Daddy. Let me just check and see if you guys can hear me before we go any further. And let me turn off the heater. It's getting to be cool in Northeast PA. We're coming to you live from an undisclosed location in Northeast Pennsylvania in an old coal mining community. In tonight's conversation, if you guys could just let me know that you can hear me, that'd be a big help to me right now. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow, of course. And we have a new feature. If you download the BeLive.tv app, you can come live with video or just audio if you'd like. Now, I have myself turned off with the video because I'm only allowed to keep so many pictures in queue. And I have way too many pictures right now. But if you'd like to talk, tonight's conversation is going to be a little bit heavy. And again, please, somebody let me know that you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. Great to hear it, Lori. Thank you. It Crew, what's going on, Pasquale? We're going to talk about something a little bit heavy tonight. A lot of you guys know that, some of you know that I've been going through some real hard times with some medications. And I seriously went through one hell of a trip down a crazy rabbit hole that, here's a great visual for that. This is pretty much what I've experienced over the last couple of months. I was going to a doctor and I was told I had slight depression. They gave me some pills for it, but mainly I was really off my sleeping pattern. If you guys remember, I was up for ungodly amount of hours, like 48 hours straight. And I will check the chat in a second and get everybody up on the screen. But this show is about depression and anxiety. I'm not really thrilled to even be talking about it. I imagine I'm putting myself out on a limb discussing it, but I think it needs to be discussed. And it's nice to see the chat. The It Crew's here. That's cool. We got Lori here. We got Audrey here. And again, I'm going to do my best to keep up with the chat and get you guys up on the screen. Niter, good to see you. So let's see, where do I start? So again, I go to the doctor because I'm not sleeping properly, and I get into such a bad sleeping pattern that it really starts to affect my mood. A lot of people think you don't get enough light, so you let the light in. You open up the drapes. I am a night person. All my life, I've been kind of a night owl. I'm more I'm more into being up during night. I always joked about it being like the rock star lifestyle. But yeah, in recent months, it kind of caught up with me, and I think other situations in my life also affected me. I went to the doctor mainly to get help with the sleep. I was not sleeping, and I think some of my friends like Nancy's probably going to be rolling her eyes a lot during this talk. But I know I have my friend Audrey. Just going to put this up again. Audrey's watching, and I know she might be able to bring some light to the subject. But it's just basically a beginning conversation on anxiety and depression. I want to stress, I've never been one to have anxiety. I was always the go-to guy. I was always the guy that people went to get help. I was always the guy that lent an ear to listen, to help people navigate through hard times. So at 52/53 years of age coming up, I'm kind of shocked that I even was even needing aid to sleep or to get back to a normal sleeping pattern, and certainly not to be depressed. But there I was, and that's how I found myself. And then what put me down the rabbit hole, as I've described this to some friends, I went to the doctor for that sleeping aid, and they gave it to me, but they didn't tell me what kind of aid it was. They told me it would help me with sleep, that it was a sleeping pill. Well, it wasn't a sleeping pill. It was a benzo pill called clonazepam. And I'm told any of the pills, but with the ending name FAM, if you see any FAM at the end of your pill name, to be curious and to do some research. It's probably one of the biggest things I learned is to do research. Now, just to prove to you that I am here, I have the ability to show my video or not. And I've chosen to just not show this because I have all these other graphics I need to share with everybody. And Lori says she has anxiety and it sucks. So that's why we're here, Lori. We're going to discuss, what are some of the things you can do to beat the anxiety, because the anxiety is a slippery slope. And again, I've never experienced it, so I'm dying to hear what some of you guys do to cope. Yeah, okay. So It Crew is saying, feel you, brother. Depression is really bad. Let me tell you something. Right now I'm feeling pretty good, hence the live. But my situation is they're changing pills now since my big fiasco. Let me explain to you what I did. So I took those pills for sleeping, not knowing what they were for. I thought they were just like an enhanced pill for sleeping. That's my big mistake in life. I should have researched what I was putting into my body, but I didn't. I trust the doctors and nurses. And back in the day, I would have my mother would always track what I was putting in my body. She was a registered nurse, and a damn good one. And she would tell me if there was things to look out for. But anyway, I took this pill, and boy, did it work. It put me not only to sleep, between the depression and that pill, it put me to sleep for upwards, if you're sitting, yeah, you might want to be sitting for this. I was sleeping upwards to 22 and a half hours a day. I should have gotten the picture and uploaded it. I might put it up on the chat after to show you what it looked like when I had the long beard in a black and white photo I took when I really didn't give two shits about taking any photographs, but I was just having a moment of clarity. And anyway, I had cut this pill off cold turkey. And boy, was that a big mistake. About 4 to 5 days later, after a cold turkey stop of clonazepam, I think I have it right with clonazepam, but I cold turkeyed this pill, and that was a big, big mistake. Again, it put me completely down a rabbit hole where I literally thought I was losing my mind. And that's, Lori says, that's bad. Yes, that's bad. So this is just a first talk on the subject of depression and anxiety. And I also, as I always serve the veterans, I want to do a big shout out to the veterans and say that I'm going to be posting some numbers for people who are having a rough time. I didn't know anything about any of these services, but I'm going to be posting numbers. As a matter of fact, I'll post right now. Here is the number. If you are a veteran, you can text and stand by. I will be posting numbers for civilians as well on how they can get help if they're in a bad way. I'll go on to explain my experience over the last couple months in more detail in a future show, probably during Wednesday's show. But I just want to get this out there. If you're in the veterans category, you could text any message to the number 838-255, and somebody will be there to help you. Again, that's if you're in the veterans category, you'll text any message to 838-255, and someone will reach out to you and lend you an ear and hopefully help you through your crisis. Also, you can dial 1-800-273-8255 and press the number 1. And same thing, that's a crisis hotline for veterans. Now, I did some research right before the show, and there's a National Youth Crisis Hotline. And the National Youth Crisis Hotline is 1-800-448-4663. That's again, 1-800-448-4663. Lori is saying, let's see, she had done that with a boost bar. Yeah, I don't think that's the proper spelling. But yeah, I've heard many people now that I'm talking to people, the different medications they're on. Yeah, Boost Bar is one of them. Paxil's another one, which is what they put me on with this other pill. And now to keep me sleeping properly, they put me on one. Here's what I'm really putting myself out there. But again, I'm grateful to be back to normal sleeping patterns. Olanzapine, Olanzapine. And just to prove, like I said, I want to get to where I can prove that I'm here. But I will put those numbers up again. Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know Boost Bar. I've heard of that mentioned before. Please don't take offense if I call you out. I just want to just tell people. Maybe it is how you spell it. I don't know. Could be. I certainly don't want to get you having anxiety. This is not about having more anxiety. This is about having less anxiety. And let's see. So this is the Big Daddy Roadshow. I just want to stress again, if anybody wants to come live and talk to me, you can come with or without video. And again, I am eventually going to show you that I am here, in fact, with you guys. And it's very simple, again. To join the conversation, you just download the BeLive.tv app, and that's about it. Doesn't get any easier than that. Now, let's see. We'll get rid of some of these graphics, and once I get down to 4 of them, I should be able to. Yeah. I'll show this one, too. This is like a talk radio type show. Tonight's discussion is anxiety and depression, and I got some hotlines for people. And to just start with a little bit of a backstory about what I experienced the first time in my life ever having severe anxiety and depression. I didn't have severe depression. I had severe anxiety. And then I went down a rabbit hole, like I said, because of a pill they put me on for sleeping that I had cut off by mistake, not knowing any better, cold turkey. And yeah, God bless our veterans is right. Again, I'm going to put these numbers up a couple times throughout the whole show here. But, and Uncle Bruno, I don't know if you're available to come live. I'd love to have a sidekick talking to me here. And I'd love to have anybody that wants to come on and discuss how they handle their anxiety. I have some things to read. This will not be too long of a show, but let me put these numbers up again. Now, if you're in the veterans category, you can text at any time any message to the number 838-255. Again, veterans category, crisis hotline, text message, any message to the number 838-255. Or you may, if you prefer, dial 273-8255 and press the number 1, and somebody will be there to talk to you. Now, friends of mine in the chat right now will tell you that they were talking to me privately and asking me to go to the hospital long before I did. And really, it took us weeks. Well, it took me weeks to figure out what the hell was even wrong with me. But I was just thinking I was depressed and I'd fight my way through it. Nancy was suggesting I go to the hospital weeks before I did. And that was when I was having the worst time from cutting off this pill, cold turkey, clonazepam. Now, I want to stress this is important. I didn't know at the time what was going on. I didn't put 2 plus 2 together. Nancy had asked me if I had anything change, if my doctor had changed anything, and I couldn't think of him changing a new prescription, but then it occurred to me that I had stopped taking this pill. And that was not a good, that was a no bueno situation. So this is open mic. If anybody wants to come up and talk, again, it'll be a live TV app. And if not, it's no big deal. I'm not going to hold anybody to any kind of pressure coming live. But I do want to stress that with the new technology on this software, you don't need to be showing video. Now I will take, just to show you, I'm in a new room. Peace, here I am. I'm working out of a new room. I'm going to set up a new background. I got a really cool skeleton poster about to go up on the wall. And we're going to redirect some of the camera angles and whatnot. But this is Big Daddy. Hello, welcome to the Big Daddy Roadshow. And this is a big shout out to all our vets and veterans. And anybody who's experiencing anxiety or depression, I can tell you that I've really, I think I've only ever had one bout with depression, and that was when I was in my early 20s. I couldn't even tell you what it was all about, but it was here and gone. But what I just experienced over the last couple months really opened my eyes. And to tell the story, let me just check the chat. To tell the story roughly, I ended up in an emergency room, and I ended up being taken from that emergency room after a 40-hour wait, roughly, in the ER, sitting up in a chair where they wouldn't give me my CPAP machine. I was escorted to a hospital in Philadelphia called the Belmont Behavioral Hospital because, you know, they wanted to monitor me. And again, my reason for going there was because I'd cut off a pill that you're not supposed to cut off cold turkey. So the point of this conversation is to tell people to respect what you're putting into your body and to be aware of what you're putting. I don't care if I'm going to stop the Flintstone vitamins. In the future, I'll be researching. And that's that's right, Uncle Bruno. Uncle Bruno just said something funny. He was going to come and shoot me if I didn't go and get some help. So thank you, Uncle Bruno, for that. And thank you, Nancy. And yeah, the shirt is from the hippie tie-dye guy. I'm digging it. It was a gift. Ironically, this was a gift. This is a really cool shirt, too. If you guys want to order a really cool tie-dye shirt, you want to get with the hippie tie-dye guy. And this is kind of interesting. When he had heard that I wasn't feeling good, I didn't get into too much detail because I didn't even know what the hell was going wrong. He sent me this shirt as just a gift. And when I had finally admitted that I needed help, let me get a drink here. When I finally admitted that I needed to get help, and I admitted to my friends that I was going to go and get help, I basically had to surrender. I gave up, didn't have any other options. He sent this to me. So I took it with me when I checked myself into the ER, and I was told to pack a bag just in case they kept me. It was a pretty good guess they were going to keep me because I was literally still delusional. I think I'd gone through the worst of the detox from that pill alone and in the dark and staying asleep 22 hours plus a day. I'd get up enough just to go to the bathroom and eat. So I make it to the ER, and I told myself if I do go to the ER and I do get help, I'm going to go all the way with whatever they suggest I do. And that's how I ended up in Belmont in Philadelphia. I will discuss the details of that in future shows. Figure that to be a part B and part C. Quite a bit to discuss. And I do have a whole new respect for people who are battling alcoholism or battling drugs or battling both or battling situations like I battled, which is a prescription pill being cut off cold turkey. Let me check the chat and see what's going on. If anybody has any comments, let's see. This is something here. Sometimes meds help, but not for everyone. And that's a very good point, because that's what they did with me. They tried low dosage of different pills to help get me back on my sleeping pattern. And I was crawling out of my skin with one of them. And I remember telling them, the hell with this, I'm not going to take it. And I will also tell you that the pill that I'm on now, I was taking for quite a while. They recently upped my dosage to twice a day. And again, I think they're just really trying to get me out of this latest mistake I did with this pill. I definitely damaged some brain cells, I think, but my brain is repairing itself. I was literally forgetting how to spell simple words like and. I would spell it ANDD, and then realize that right when I did it, that it was a big, that I made a big faux pas. Finishing sentences for a good while there was a bad no-no, which is why I haven't been doing shows. Can't do shows if you can't put together sentences. And this is something Nancy says, you want to be watching, messing with the counter meds with prescriptions. Are you saying that you want to watch yourself with taking over the counter meds? Is that what you're saying? Let me get rid of some of these graphics here. Help me out and help me to understand. So the chat's going pretty good. And let's see here. Yeah, so we're in agreement that some pills just ain't right. Well, I think too, different people will take different pills and have different effects. So let me see if I can get this back up on the screen, because I really don't want to be up on the screen the whole time here. I don't know why. I didn't shave. I just didn't set up for being on video. And basically, I just wanted to get live and discuss with anybody who's having a hard time. Even if you're depressed or if you have severe anxiety, don't hold back like I did. Go and get help. I was told to get help. I will say this though, I was so messed up. I was so messed up and so screwed up that I didn't care. I never wanted to pop myself. Everybody's worried about that. And that's pretty much when I signed myself into the Philly hospital. Remember, I had told myself if I did go to the ER, I was going to do whatever I was suggested to have done. So at that point, I figured I'm all in, and I signed myself into, I basically agreed to go. And in my paper pants and in a paper shirt, I drove with a constable to a hospital in Philadelphia. Again, I'll discuss the whole process of the hospital. I could write a book. I could write a small book about that in both comedy terms and serious terms. I learned quite a bit. Some of the things I learned at that hospital, I wish I would have learned in the 8th grade. So, Audrey, how do you handle social anxiety? What do you do when you get hit with social anxiety? This is what I want to discuss. And also, can we bring in the whole Pennsylvania cannabis? Is that an option? Medical marijuana in Pennsylvania. Is that something that we can discuss? I personally am really kind of perturbed that it's so hard to get doctors on board to get the card. I think that would, based on what I know from over the years, I believe that would truly help me. But my medical doctor is afraid, I guess, because it's not federally legal. Their hospital group doesn't, it just doesn't jive with the doctors I go to. That doesn't mean I still can't get it. I can get my medical records and still get it, but I find it's kind of very difficult to do it. You have to go to a town where they're coming. Now, before we go on and check more of the chat, I would love to know how you go about handling your anxiety. Let's see, I take a break, a moment to myself, and try. Yeah. So you've learned to just breathe and get yourself centered by getting alone. Is that what I'm to understand? But boy, I'll tell you, when I was having my trouble with that pill, let me tell you something. I was having trouble. I felt so alone. I felt that that even the littlest things were a big thing. Like I said, it was totally a trip down a rabbit hole. And I had never experienced anything like that and never want to, would never wish it on my worst enemy. Um, Not that I really have a lot of enemies, but I just would not be something I'd want to push on, on anybody having to experience. Now that I did experience it, and I am still having anxiety at times and even slight depression, but it's hit or miss. So I don't know if I don't know if what they're doing is just starting to take effect. From what I'm told, it's supposed to take weeks and that I shouldn't expect anything overnight. So let me read some of the chat. And Audrey is saying that she twirls her hair. And I remember calling her out on that. And I didn't mean to be a meanie. I hope I wasn't taken like so. But being that I'm a photographer, I always see all kinds of, and poker player. I see people doing all sorts of things. We call them tells in the poker world. And twirling her hair is something she does. That makes me sad. That means that you had anxiety when I was around. That's horrible. I hope not. Lori says, when I go out of the house to like a restaurant, I always have to keep my back to the wall. Interesting. In an open area. And my hubby always stays behind me. Yeah, I get that. That's something that I definitely had very rarely, but usually in like a mall situation during the holidays, I would have just an anxiety. Like I did not want to be there. Did you ever go to a party and you were all bent on going and you were totally into it, but then you got in the car and you all of a sudden just took the key out of the ignition? I've experienced that. I don't know what those social things are, but I remember one time when I was younger, I told you I had these experiences like maybe only 2 times in my life when I was younger. I had gone for a job interview and it was quite a drive to the new job. And I went all the way to the parking lot of the place and I had such anxiety that I just never even went in. And, I guess everything happens for a reason. But this was going back in my teens. But when I think back, I did have anxiety. I probably had anxiety disorders through junior high and elementary school, but you just learn to adapt. And up until my 52nd year, I was doing pretty damn good with it. Let's see. And Lori says, if I get real bad, I pick at my face or arm. Now, see, that's what I had learned in the hospital in Philadelphia, what some people will do. Yeah, Nancy has a good advice. She says that when you look and say things like rock, tree, bird, flower, you just totally just change your brain from focusing on negative and you just say various words. I think there's some interesting points to that because when you're doing that, I think your brain can only really focus on one thing at a time. So if you and this is why I wanted to put this out there. This is therapy for me as much as anybody else, but it's also these phone numbers, which I'm about to put up on the screen again. And Audrey goes on and says, half the time, that's why I tie my hair in knots. Yeah, I do remember how I asked you about that. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm just putting some different chat up on the screen, and I appreciate you guys adding to this. That was the whole point. The whole point of this was to support my veterans and to also just tell people what I've been experiencing, why I haven't been live. And I'm just putting it out there because I figure it like this. I'm just guessing here, but I have to guess that about 60% of our population in this country is probably on some kind of anxiety medication or depression medication. So I feel like I'm in pretty good company. And for me to be given a pill to help me sleep, and even though I thought it was just an advanced pill that you'd buy a sleeping aid at like Rite Aid or whatnot, I should have known better. I should have been an adult about it and researched it, but I didn't. Clonazepam is in the benzo family, and people get addicted to the benzos. And I don't think I was addicted to it, but I could tell you it's not something you want to go cold turkey off of, at least not with my brain chemistry. So here, let me get rid of some of these graphics, and let me just get up on the screen here some of these phone numbers. If you're ever in crisis, and do go early, don't do what I did. I know what it feels like. There was a time, and I believe Nancy will tell you, there was a time I was so cold. I was so cold. Get some kind of interference on my speaker. I was a time I was so cold, but I wouldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't. Not that I couldn't. I didn't even care to put the blankets on me. I still had the air conditioner in the window, and that's how out of it I was. That's how out of it I was when I went cold turkey off this pill. So I was really in a dark space. So here's the number if you are in the veterans category: 1-800-273-8255, and then press the number 1. Or you can text any message to 838-255, and that's for veterans, okay? Also for youth, National Youth Crisis Hotline is 800-448-4663, and there will be someone there to talk to you. Now, if you're in the civilian category, and I was just told this by a caseworker, let me turn this off here. We're having some technical difficulties with my speakers here. I was told this by a caseworker from Geisinger Hospital. Jen says that you can text your zip code to 211. So you can check in to see if you're in the civilian category, and I guess your zip code will signify what part of the country you're in. So let me get back to the chat. Let's see here. Just put some of this up on the screen. So that's pretty much all I wanted to get out there tonight. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty good tonight. I will tell you that I did experience a lot of light bulb moments when I went to that hospital. Like I said, I don't recommend it to anybody. It would not have been put on my bucket list as an experience to have. But now that I've experienced it, I will tell you, and I will be talking about this on a future show, hopefully with Uncle Bruno asking me questions or somebody else coming live to ask me questions so that I don't forget things. Is my different experiences with what I experienced in Belmont Behavioral Hospital. Yeah, I appreciate that, Lori. I want to tell you, I was really concerned because the biggest thing that pissed me off, pardon my French, is that I had hurt my brain enough to where I couldn't remember things. And I'm pretty grateful that I feel back to normal. So now, Audrey, it's like now I'm getting something coming over my speaker. I guess I better just turn that off. I think somebody has a CB radio. Anyway, Audrey is saying that, let's see, if you have social anxiety and can't call, talk to someone. That's good advice. I'm going to put that up on the screen. That's definitely some good advice. And I'm going to read, I did look up a little bit, and I'm going to read. And Audrey, I will say you did say if I ever needed somebody to talk to, that was sweet of you. And it wasn't that I didn't want to talk to you. I didn't even talk to like Bruno and Nancy. I didn't talk to you, and you had told me. I'm telling you, I was just that out of it. So that's how bad it got. So you can actually get so far down the rabbit hole that you just feel numb. And that's where I was. And that's why when finally I woke up in a moment of clarity and I just said, the heck with it, I'm going to go and get some help. I'm pretty grateful I did. And I'm not out of the water yet, but Nancy says I'm doing better. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing better, and I hope that that's hope for anybody that's experiencing it. I'm telling you, I've never experienced anything like this in my life, and I hope that I bounce back and I'm strong like bull. But I will tell you that when you are dealing with these meds and stuff, it's a frightening time for sure. So let's see. That's a total monologue I'm doing here. I feel like I should have somebody to talk to, but I don't know what it's like to be listening to this, and I certainly won't. I don't ever listen to my shows, so hopefully we're getting some points across. Let me, let's see. Lori, I appreciate that too. See, I have plenty of people to talk to now, so I have a good 4 to 5 people that I could talk to. But did I discuss to you? Did I ask you guys what you thought about the cannabis? Am I wrong to think that that would be very good for anxiety? I don't know about depression, but anxiety for sure. And could you guys chime in on that, or am I just being like a silly teenager wanting to just feel that groove? I personally just think it would help. I'm just curious what you guys think about that. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to put up the numbers one last time. I'm going to read something I found. Um, I have a few more graphics to put up before we finish. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? This is something that we definitely don't want to forget, especially if our service people out there, being that we have a holiday tomorrow in just 2 hours. God bless our troops. God bless our veterans, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines. God bless you guys. If you ever need help, make sure you call and reach out and get it. 1-800-273-8255, and then press the number 1 button. And and Lori's saying that she wishes they would legalize it for recreation. I agree. I think they're trying to, but I think it's going to be a couple of years off. Let's see. She's saying that you'll have to give up concealed carry. I'm reading where that's true and not true. I think it's more so not true, Lori, but don't confirm that with mine. And Audrey says it would work great for depression and anxiety. And I'll tell you, they make it so hard. You have to go and meet a doctor. Some doctors are like, there was a doctor that was coming to Tamaqua. So people like us could go down to Tamaqua if we had our medical records. And if you met the criteria, which I believe I would with my spinal pain and my neuropathy, you can go and have a visit. They're traveling doctors. And but then you have to go to the communities like Allentown or Edwardsville in PA, because our town doesn't have a dispensary. And then even if you got the card, I'm reading where they're behind in production, so they don't even have enough product. That just shows you how many people are using it and how many people are in need of medicinal cannabis in Pennsylvania. They can't even keep up with the demand. So it's very hard for me too to keep up with this chat. So guys, bear with me. I hope if you have to type in something, if you want to get something up on the screen, you might have to type it in more than one time. So let's see here. Also, I don't know if you guys seen, but I did hand off the check for $300 to the Hazleton Elks Veterans Committee. And that picture was posted on my Facebook page, I think the night before last, if I'm correct. We have raised $200 on live show donations, and $100 was raised from the Retired Flag Stars program. Didn't go as good as I thought it would, but I'm trying to come up with a better idea and something cool to make with those stars. Hopefully we'll do something with that in the future. Audrey says, one thing too, some docs just give the meds because it's more money in their pocket. I don't know anything about that. So if you have side effects from the meds they put you on, and your doc won't do anything or change anything, get a second opinion. I would listen. I have a very good doctor. He's pretty on top of, changing things if I'm not happy with things. So pretty lucky there. So Owens, Nancy says this is kind of a slap in the face. Much deserved. Stay on schedule with your meds. Yeah, let me get a drink. There it is one here. This is something, and I don't mean alcohol. Just get a sip of something here. So, just because I know we needed to say goodbye to you guys and get off the screen. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about, in my case, I had a severe reaction to going cold turkey from a pill called clonazepam, went down the rabbit hole, and ended up in a Philadelphia hospital, which I will give mega props to. Also, Geisinger in Bear Creek, which is near the casino up in the Wilkes-Barre area. I had nothing but, I will say, nothing but a great experience with the staff. It's not a experience I would hope you would ever have to do, but I will tell you that Geisinger was very professional and very caring, and Philadelphia was more like it was more like entering the service. They don't mess around in that hospital, and remember, when they first check you in, they don't know anything about you. So I ended up checking into that hospital at 1 a.m. and I couldn't even see who my roommates were. It was an experience, but I will be talking about that in a future show because there was things I learned in that experience. Uncle Bruno's in the back office. Uncle Bruno, I didn't know you were in the back office. Must be hey, let me bring Uncle Bruno up and see if he has any questions. All right, Uncle Bruno, let me make room. I don't know why I'm not hearing. Oh, I know why I'm not hearing you. Because I don't have the speaker turned on. Here we go. You ready? Here he comes. Uncle Bruno on the BDRS.
I only been in the back office for 15 minutes.
Hold on, Uncle Bruno. I got to turn my speaker on. There he is.
Thank you, Nancy, for telling him.
I don't hear you. Oh, I do hear you. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Uncle Bruno.
I've been in the back office for 15 minutes.
Well, I got a lot to say here.
I know you couldn't see me at all.
No, it's really just I should write a letter to the Be Live people. They put you in on the far right when they should put you on the far left of the software. So unless I know you're coming or I hear you, but I had turned off the speaker because I think somebody had a CB radio and it was coming over my speakers in my office. So we're in Studio 2. We haven't even gotten the posters up on the wall. Pretty pumped to be in a smaller room through the winter. I won't have to go over and freeze my nads off over in the big studio.
Cool.
I want to show you something too. You know how I dig skulls?
Yeah.
And you know how I'm always acting like I'm a 12-year-old. I went and got the new poster for the Studio B. And a lot of people dig my skulls. So I want to just show you this. Oh, and Nancy says I should check my sugar.
Yes.
When my mouth is dry. First of all, big shout out to you, Uncle Bruno, for promoting and pushing me to get to the doctor. And I mean, it was a little extreme. Uh-oh. Is that your clapper? Did you just clap your phone, your light off?
No, my automatic light went off. I had to turn my other one on here, so we're back up.
You're never going to believe who's in the Studio B with me tonight.
Who is?
Alexa.
Oh, nice.
But,
you got Alexa back.
But she's not connected to anything. What's up, Ryan? Ryan's in the chat. Say hi to Ryan. Hey, Ryan, we still want to do that wrestling show.
I sent him a invite, so.
Oh, cool. Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're talking about my crazy rabbit hole experience with clonazepam. Check this out, Uncle Bruno. This is going to look good. It's going to look really good. See it?
I don't see it. See, that's the problem. I have the big BDS Roadshow on my end on the full screen.
Well, there it is for anybody else. Oh, wait a minute. No, you can't. Okay, let me just explain. Or you just explain to me why. Here we go. Now you should be able to see it.
No, I'm just seeing a black screen. Just with the.
What are you seeing?
Seeing all your other graphics.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till it gets up on the wall. There's a couple second delay too. So anyway, I'm going to make myself disappear because I didn't shave or anything. I feel kind of blah. So anyway, so what do you think? Did I just wanted to cover this. It's a special day tomorrow for the veterans. And I thought I've been meaning to come and talk to people. Some people were asking what the hell happened, where'd I go,
Right. And if people didn't follow the post the last few days, you was able to fundraise $300 and took that to the Hazelton Elks, which is kind of cool. So that's awesome.
And you know why I had to post that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because but everything, like I said, everything I do can be tracked, and just in case there's anybody out there who wants to be, a douchebag. so, so let's see. I'm way behind in the chat. Uncle Bruno, Ryan, haven't seen Ryan. Good to see you, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, glad you're on.
Good to see you, buddy. And Uncle Bruno, he's saying I'm down for anything once we get settled and get the house and stuff. Yeah, he's working on getting the new house. Good for you, Ryan.
Good. That's awesome. Awesome.
Should be calling Uncle Bruno for pointers. Uncle Bruno, I want to do something too. I want to do a.
Yeah, one of these Wednesday nights we'll do a real estate gig.
That was really crazy. We were talking about how when you do tours with the real rich houses, how some people will start pocketing.
Very careful.
It's crazy. All the different things you got to worry about, cameras and.
Yeah.
So let's see. Anyway, so in closing here, because I mean, if you, I thought maybe you might have some questions that I forgot or something, but I just wanted to touch base, and I reluctantly did this, but I thought, no, I always talk about everything on my show, and man, I wish I wouldn't have cut that pill cold turkey. I probably wouldn't have had this horrific experience, but and it was pretty bad.
I think that that falls back. Potentially, I was thinking about that the past few weeks. I think that should fall back on your primary care guy. Whoever gave you that pill should have instructed you. I know the pharmacy. I think if you get your pharmacy, you should have gotten some type of synopsis of what the effects are of the pill. But if that pill is that strong and it could be that addictive, your primary, as far as I'm concerned, and I think other people probably the same, is I think your primary care should have been paying attention to that.
Well, I think honestly, I really think that he did. If it was all my bad, I think I was spoiled having a mother and a father that were both registered nurses, and I had people up until recently, just a couple of years ago, that would have monitored things, and I would never have to ask the primary in great detail. But I can tell you that my pharmacist, John, does give out paperwork with every pill. It's just a matter of I didn't read it. So it's sort of the same thing. Like when I build things, I don't read the instructions. it's
also had the conversation that you thought it was funny that the pill was not in your new prescription when you refilled, which was kind of weird.
This is the weird thing about that. That's a good point you just brought up. I think what happened was the pill was given to me, Bruno, and when I first had that real hard time with sleeping, I had taken the pill, and then I got back on a normal sleeping program, and then I stopped the pill, but I guess I hadn't taken that many of them, so I guess I didn't have a reaction, and then I must have taken them again. And then I must have taken them longer because I was going back to having the same. You remember when I was going to bed. I wanted to go to bed at 4 a.m. and I'd be typing to people before you went to bed, and I'd be typing to you when you woke up, and I still didn't go to bed. You remember that? Right. So I think what happened was it was a prescription that was given me way back in March. And remember, this doesn't start to affect me until later August, September. Probably September is when I started to really have the hard time, and I sat in bed and just dealt with whatever I had to deal with. The worst of it I went through by myself, and I'm telling you, it was brutal. It was really bad. So I mean, I wouldn't even communicate with you. I mean, that's got to tell you something.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was like blowing you off, Uncle Bert. No, I never blow you up, but. A couple people put 2 plus 2 together.
They threatened to drive down and shoot you,
there's nothing like
or call 911 that your house was on fire.
Right. Which I'm so glad you didn't do that. That would not be cool. But but the thing is that I guess that's the messages to people is that accidents happen with medications, or depression just happens. And like I said, I think if you did a poll, mathematically or statistically, I'm sure that my guess would be 60% of people in America are probably on some kind of anxiety. You got to figure just with politics alone, just with national politics alone, people are on anxiety pills. And just
Oh,
from being a people
you're
person,
you're in the majority, not the minority these days.
let's see, it was got chalk it up to a learning experience. Yeah, Lori, that's one hell of a learning experience. My dad always said life is a big game, and as long as you continue to learn, you're doing good. Well, that's if I can keep myself positive now, because I was going to read. I'm going to read these lines too. Ryan's saying his closing date's on the 26th. Very cool, Ryan. Very cool. Let us
Nice.
know, man.
Thumbs up. Cool.
Um, Sometimes, Audrey says, sometimes you will do anything to fix a problem and not think about it or read about it too. Yeah, I just trusted my doctors basically, and I didn't. I should have been more educated on that specific pill. That's all. Bruno, Nancy wants to know what you're watching on TV. You can see it in the picture behind you. She wants to know what you're watching.
It's football. It's Vikings Dallas.
You got a little. Oh, you can't bet on sports, can you?
Mm,
No,
Not really.
no. That's just. I didn't think so. So no wagering, Nancy. No, all the wagering windows are closed. Um, let's see. Here's what I wanted to read about this depression thing. Here's what I found. This is 10 natural depression treatments. This is interesting. It won't take long. Bear with me, Uncle Bruno. Number one, get in a routine. This is something that I totally did not have. And still recently, even as today, I didn't want to get up right away and get moving. I have to do better. If you're depressed, you need a routine, says Ian Cook, MD. He's a psychiatrist and a director of the Depression Research Clinic program at UCLA. Depression can strip away the structure from your life. One day melts into the next. Setting a gentle daily schedule can help you get back on track. Number two, and Uncle Bruno, if you have any opinions on these, just let me know. Number two, set goals. When you're depressed, you may feel like you can't accomplish anything. That makes you feel worse about yourself. To push back, set daily goals for yourself. Start very small, Cook says. Make
Yeah.
your goal something that you can succeed at, like doing dishes every other day. I'll tell you,
Getting up, getting dressed, getting showered. Those are goals. Those are
dude,
things say to use.
did you see my pictures? This is why we will be doing a whole talk on Belmont. Because if you saw my black and white pictures of the beard I had, I looked like Howard Hughes, man. I was really, I don't have the picture to show today, but when I do the show on Belmont, because people need to know that experience.
We were trying to get the beautiful Jennifer, the stylist, to come in and trim you up and clean you up. But
I would love her to trim me up. Let her trim me up, Uncle Bruno. Let her trim me up. That'd probably make me happy. Number three, exercise. It temporarily boosts feel-good chemicals called endorphins. It may also have a long-term benefit for people with depression. Regular exercise seems to encourage the brain to rewire itself in positive ways, Cook says. Eat healthy. This is something that at Belmont, I don't want to say they fed us healthy. It wasn't horrible, but there's a lot of eating at Belmont. I gained, are you ready for this? 35 pounds through the whole experience. So this one here says, eat healthy. There's no magic diet that fixes depression. It's a good idea to watch what you eat, though. If depression tends to make you overeat, getting in control of your eating will help you feel better. Number five, get enough sleep. Well, I just explained that's how I went off the rails, not getting sleep. Depression can make it hard to get enough shut-eye, and too little sleep can make depression worse. It can actually make you delirious. Number 6 of 10, take on responsibilities. When you're depressed, this is why Uncle Bruno had to threaten to shoot me just to get me to go to the ER. When you're depressed, you may want to pull back from life and give up on your responsibilities at home and at work. That's another problem I have. Don't have solid work with my back spinal problem. Staying involved and having daily responsibilities can help you maintain a lifestyle that can help counter depression. Let's see. If you're not up to full-time school or work, that's fine. Think about part-time, which is exactly what I've been looking into, part-time work with this back that I have. I applied for a thing called, I think it's called OVR, which is a rehabilitation type of work program. You know what they suggested I try? Did you ever hear where when you're on a call with the doctor's office and it says these calls may be monitored or recorded. The lady gave me a number to call to, I guess, be the person to listen to those calls. I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'm definitely going to call tomorrow, but who knows if they're hiring or whatever. The OVR program, she told me while I'm in the system, she told me she can't tell me exactly how long it takes to get into the system. That was kind of disheartening. I thought, it was kind of a bummer.
That's a state program.
State program, yep. And let's see. Check with your doctors before using supplements. I don't know. I guess somebody was alluding to that in the chat. Was it Nancy? Watching what you take with your medications. And do something new. Uncle Bruno, we were going to go to Texas. Damn it. You should have picked me up. We were going to go down and see Kevin Sockwell's.
We missed a hell of a rally. I can tell you that much.
Give the people a plug. Let's do it. Go ahead.
The grind. So Kevin Sockwell, the grind number 4 was at the Lone Star Rally in Texas last weekend, and they had a huge turnout. This time around, they had 2 professional bike builders, scooter shooters, Warren Beasley, and Barnyard Baggers, Brad Konar, and those 2 guys are killer bike builders.
Yeah, the bikes. The bike that I liked didn't win, but I heard it was such a close vote, so I felt really good about that.
Yeah, it was a close vote. And the bike that won had a lot of etching detail on the wheels. And it was amazing. Long bike come out awesome. Can't wait. I am going to be in Colonial Beach, Virginia, next October for the Jim Fowler 6 Sleds is having a professional invitation, and he has some top people coming to this bike event. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on that, and we're going to have to make that trip down there.
Well, you're going to be passing me at some point, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not, though. 95 you might get on. That's down by Philly, but who knows? Maybe I'll have a van down by the river by that time.
So anyway, that was pretty.
Yeah, and one more plug, Uncle Bruno. Give the IT Crew. I don't know what's going on with the IT Crew. I've been kind of out of it.
The IT Crew. Oh, so okay, yeah. Let's update the IT Crew. I know that Pasquale's out there driving. He must have been busy today. He might have been visiting family, so he was in the automobile listening. But okay. So part of the IT Crew is going to be going on America's Got Talent. Not the TV show yet, but they've been invited to the tryouts. So they may make it, they may make TV. So right now there are 2 of them working on that, and Pasquale is hey Nida, what's happening? Pasquale is going to do a live tomorrow night with some little bit of music, and he may discuss it as well. But those guys have been, they're moving their professional career on, and they're keeping it plugging. And so right now they're on pretty much hiatus for their Monday nights. But Pasquale said that he tried to come on and just keep the people, aware of what's happening. So I told him you got to stay relevant. You can't disappear.
Yeah, that's why I was reluctant to even do this, but I thought it's good therapy for me. Believe me, I've been through more therapy with that hospital visit. And like I said, I have a whole new respect. I know you stopped drinking many years ago. I learned so much. I went to I didn't miss one talk. And what was I there from? I think I got checked in at a Thursday morning. It was either a Wednesday or a Thursday morning. I didn't get to Philly until 1 a.m. And it was such a creepy experience being put into a hospital at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm literally put into a room that's very basic. There's nothing, they don't know what your problem is. They don't know if you're addicted to drugs or, there's a whole staff there 24/7. There's RNs and aides and technicians. And anyway, I got 2 roommates in a dark room. I have to get my CPAP machine. I had more anxiety not having my CPAP machine because I've had that for 14 years, Uncle Bruno. And I'm one of the worst cases of CPAP users you could run into. Like I literally 15 minutes into sleep, I stopped breathing. So I had anxiety, but they didn't want to let me use my CPAP machine. I thought they were going to put me in a padded room right there. But there's lots of funny parts to my visit, but there's also serious ones. And some of the group, I'll give you an example. One of the drinking guys that came in to do Alcoholics Anonymous, which I really didn't need to be a part of, but I went to every one because I was bored and I wanted to learn anything I could. He said that his way of getting through it was just to make it to midnight every day. And he felt if he could make it back home with his wife at midnight, that he had made it through another day. So he didn't try to make it through the whole week. He didn't try to make it through the whole month. He just every day started to say, let's just make it till midnight. And now it's many years later and the guys drink free. And some of the stories of people, what they lost, or some of the accidents they had and the people that died, and and then the people that are on drugs or street drugs or people that got addicted to opiates, which, again, I guess technically I was addicted to that clonazepam for that short period of time I took it, if I had a reaction to it, right? I don't know. All I know is if I would have weaned off of it, I think I would have been okay.
Yeah, I don't think that was you were addicted to it. I think that...
Yeah, because I've taken opiates for a lot of years before the doctor gave me the shot in the spine. So and even now I'm going back for another shot because the pain is starting to come back. And that's another reason why I'm depressed is because of my back, because my mind still wants to do the things I did when I was in business. And my body won't do it. I can't. I got a roof that's leaking. I got to get some help with that. I have to get support, and I got to get people. I got to find the right people to help me get some of these things that I used to do for other people. I used to help people do some of the things I need done. And the thing that sucks is I feel like I should be 70. But I'm only 52 and I just can't do things. I just can't do things. It's a real bummer. It's really what it is. It's a real bummer. So let's see. Nancy's putting up, here's facebook.com, the Grind Biker Build Off. If you guys want to check into some of the bikes and the recent winners. And I guess that's pretty much.
I think this week, I'm not sure if next week, Thursday, he will announce the bike build number 5. So,
that'd be cool. And I wonder if they're ever going to pick up on my trike idea. That would be so cool to see a trike.
Well, they did. Remember, Kevin said that they'll look to that. They will look to that. Looking into a girl build. So there's a lot of exciting things down the pipe with that one. So.
Does Nancy, is she asking, is that what she's saying? Can we bring up Nider? Would you like to try and bring up Nider up? I don't know if he has anything to add to tonight's conversation, but Nancy's asking.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I mean, I could send him a link.
Yeah, I'll go off and send him a link. He should be able to upload it and get on it and reset.
All right, cool. Well, while you're doing that, then you come back and you have a conversation with him and me. And we'll finish up. But in the meantime, I'll put the 800 numbers up again for all the different groups, okay?
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay, all right, he'll be back. There's Uncle Bruno, and here I come back to the screen. Wow, do I look rough? What do I look rough? Okay, so let me just put up some graphics on the screen. Again, if you're in the military, thank you, veterans. Just gonna get rid of this again. Nobody needs to see that without shave. And John, stand by. If your Uncle Bruno's going to send you a link, and if you have the Be Alive software, we can get you to help us finish out the show here. If you have anything to add to the conversation, this is a show about anxiety and depression. And let's see. I want to try and keep it to, well, it's already 60 minutes. Wow, did that time fly? Here's a little nice thing here. What is a veteran? A veteran is someone who, at one point, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount of up to and including their life. So thank you to veterans. And again, if you are in any kind of crazy, okay, you're back already. That was fast. I just want to put this up, put you back up on the screen. But the Veterans Crisis Line is 1-800-273-8255. And if you don't want to call, you can, this is again for veterans, you can text any message to 838-255. And I don't know how that works, but I guess you'd start texting and hopefully they would get you on the telephone. Do reach out if you're in trouble. For youth, National Youth Crisis Hotline is 800-448-4663. Again, 1-800-448-4663. Uncle Bruno, one thing I learned too, man, they had kids there from 18 years old on up. And I had people that were way older than me. There was every walk of life, every different profession. There were people there with all kinds of problems, whether it was drug related, alcohol relation, or medication mistakes like me. But what a cross section of society was what blew me away. Like every kind of person, and that was just on our one floor. The Belmont Hospital is I would imagine, pretty well respected hospital in Philly. I was, even though I had a couple critiques here and there,
Not in the
I was
greatest
really impressed.
location, remember?
What's that?
Not in the greatest location.
Yeah, well, no, actually, I don't know. Kensington, they kept joking about, not joking either. Kensington and Philadelphia is not a place apparently you want to be a part of, but that's where all the people that were having drug problems would say that when they were bad, they were going to that area. But when they painted the picture, it's basically sounded like hell on earth. Okay, looks like Nider's in there. Let's see. Nider, if you're ready, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to bring him live right now. Here we go. Hey, Nider, what's going on?
There he is.
You right now?
Yeah, we can see you.
Bruno, is that you in the corner?
That's me.
Oh my God, you look like Santa Claus.
Where is this going to go? Nider, do you have anything to add to the conversation for us, brother?
I understand. There's a lot of people that I see on social media that are depressed, but they don't act like it. They hide it so good that people like what you're just talking about, and people need to, people need to learn there's other people out there depressed.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I mean,
Well, I'm definitely a candidate who tried to hide it. Wouldn't you say, Bruno? See,
Yeah.
I was always the go-to guy. I was always the guy that people came to. This is the first kind of crisis I ever had in my life like that. But I think it was twofold. It was a slight depression from just my spine thing. Just, I just can't do what I used to do. But then I really knocked my brain for a loop when I stopped taking this one pill they gave me for sleep, which I will give the pill credit. Clonazepam did get me sleeping. It's just that 22 hours a day isn't really the best sleeping pattern either. So I went from being up 3 days in a row to sleeping 22 hours a day. And then just all kinds of delusions, and the ceiling was shaking and the lights were screaming across. It was just it was brutal. So if anybody's out there going through any kind of withdrawal, if that's what you're going through, God bless you, and prayers going out to you. Do not do what I did and lay at home. Go to the ER sooner. The only thing I'm grateful is I didn't have to spend as much time in the hospital. I think if I would have went sooner, I would have been in the hospital that would have drove me bonkers, because just being in there for a week, it was kind of rough. It was kind of tough.
Right.
Protein.
you need some ready powder. This stuff gives you protein, and once you take it, you got to work out with it though.
Yeah.
You got to take a ready protein bar. It helps your depression.
It could be protein. Could be. I was even thinking testosterone, because I'm getting older. I don't know.
Some ready drinks.
Look at Nancy.
Some ready drinks.
Nancy's going to get you, Nider.
Be ready. Everybody needs to be ready.
Is he selling this? Be ready. I hear you. Yeah, but Nancy's going to be all over you. She was just Nancy.
Everything you do.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You can't be ready for a mistake. Uncle Bruno,
look at Bruno.
I can't handle this.
It's in every pot. He's in more pots and pans than you see in the world.
Say it again. I don't think we understood what you were saying there.
I said Bruno's in more pots and pans than he even knows.
Oh, Uncle Bruno he's very popular. He's very popular. I'm grateful to have him as a sidekick on my show.
A lot of people.
Yeah, Uncle Bruno doesn't play. Uncle Bruno is just like Nancy, always supporting the shows, always sharing the shows. And there's just my show. I only go live from my personal page because we had a lot of trouble with trolls and stuff like that. So mine is more like a personal CB radio nighter. If we decide to
Well,
go
there's
live
a lot
on,
of trolls. Listen to me. There's a lot of trolls and there's a lot of backstabbers, brother. And just recently, the last couple of days, people were messaging me, telling me who was reporting my pages,
yeah,
and it shocked me. It shocked me. You know, if these guys are out there predator hunting, leave us alone. We're not on your steps. We're not on your blocks. So don't play with us. You know what I mean? Because you will be exposed. Everybody talks. Bruno, he knows a lot of people. Nighter Exciter knows a lot of people. The reason we know a lot of people because we help a lot of people, and sooner or later, the people you help, okay, they're there for you or they backstab you,
Right.
yeah,
They
it's
come
a
and
sad thing. Now,
you can't trust anybody.
Niner, I know exactly what you're saying. I went through all kinds of friends that stabbed me in the back, and it was the last people I expected to see happen with. But Nancy has a question. She said that you had a rough year, and how did you cope with all that? That's what Nancy wants to know.
I lost my mom this past year. She died. We're Catholic, and Bruno knows Catholic because once you're in the Catholic world, you're Catholic, and our beliefs is we're Catholic. And she died on Ash Wednesday this
I'm
year.
sorry to hear
So
that, Niner. That's horrible.
it hurts. It hurts, and I had like I couldn't sleep for like a couple months.
I got to tell
You
you
know,
something. It's funny you say that, Bruno. Do you remember me telling you my mother died, and they didn't even invite me to the funeral? We've discussed many times why that kind of happened with a brother-in-law who was a pedophile, but I stood up to him and I got put into the outcast of the family. But I really thought that was a really dickish move for my older brother not to make sure that I got a phone call. So I had made my own peace at the grave, but I wonder if that was what put me into my depression. I really do, because there is something about not being at your parents' funeral. Um, because like I said, I was usually the Johnny go happy guy. I was the guy that was always positive, always attaboy. Hey, Nighter, you're going through a hard time with your mother. I'll listen to you. I'd pat you on the back. I'd give you a brother hug. And then all of a sudden, the guy that's always there for other people needed somebody, and I didn't even know how to reach out to people. I literally, then I got into such a funk with this pill problem when I stopped taking that pill cold turkey. My head was not acting; it wasn't firing properly. So I know exactly what you're going through, and I actually started to think a lot about that in therapy at the hospital. I wonder if what set me off was my mother, was the whole thing with my mother. So yeah, I know exactly what you went through, but we all, sadly, we all got to go through that. I mean, and hopefully, we go after our parents. I mean, one of the worst things I see is when people lose their children. No parent should lose their child. That just doesn't seem
well,
natural. But
I'm gonna
yeah,
talk to you, Big Daddy. I just want to explain to you, to Bruno, Uncle Bruno, and Big Daddy. I just want to explain this. Like when I grew up, it was fast. I lost I lost my little sister in '80, a brother in '90, and a brother in '92.
wow,
And I was trained by a guy named Steve Cardello that makes the Cardello weight belts to all the professional, all the famous people in the world. I'm talking all the big guys. And if he wasn't in my life at the time, I wouldn't be where I'm at. Then I got a stepping stone. Paul Gardino, the exercise man, a two-time Guinness Book of World Record, being that kid on the show for 21 years, be able to take kids that were getting bullied on TV, stopping it from happening to them. I took a couple kids on that were getting bullied. So I had the power at the time to get these kids on TV, to get other kids to stop bullying them. So I was bullied when I was a kid. So I thought this would be a good thing that I could get back to the kids. So that's what I believed in. That's what I went for. That's always I did. When I became Bully Stoppers of America, and now I got the Pennsylvania Bullies. They're coming with me. We're going to ride this. If you're not a part of my team, you can leave. You know what I mean? You could go because we don't need the negativity. What we're trying to help the kids at is by living what we experienced in life, you know, and back to them kids and say, you know what? We've been there. You could do it. You know what I mean? So most of the kids I'm with right now are in their 30s down that run these groups. and they've been following me, and I've been following them, and it's like the predator hunters and all these other people to do their things. They all work together. You know what I mean? But what we're doing is different. What they're doing, we're helping the kids from getting bullied. We're reaching out to them. You know what I mean? But
even if
basically,
I mean, literally, what the
yeah,
kids need to understand is most bullies come from a really bullied situation themselves. Not that that helps the kid being bullied. I was bullied for a short period, but I had two older brothers, one of which took care of a lot of business for me, and then taught me how to handle it to the best of my ability. But you could be bullied by a crew of people too. I remember junior high school, I coming down some sidewalk on some back alleyway, and a whole crew of people hit me up. So bullies
yeah.
are not just singular, but yeah, it's a horrible thing when kids. I know one of my friends locally here going through that right now, where the kid's going on the school bus and the bully's actually tearing clothes and ripping clothes off the kid. It's like, to me, that's a school district problem. That's a school bus company problem. When I drove school bus, that
Like you,
shit didn't happen on my bus.
and they report us. They're bullies, and some of the people, believe it or not, are our friends. Like you're talking about. It's somebody that's real close to you. You think it ain't going to be like, okay, let's report Bruno, And I got a buddy that's really smart on a computer, and he could give me a whole list of all the people to report me and send it right to my messenger. You know what I'm saying? And it's amazing how people are smarter than other people on a computer. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's a friend of mine. And I
Yeah,
seen on Facebook today, and I knew it was him. And he made a viral video for some big famous people, in the world right now. And I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "I've been busy. I haven't forgot you." I said, "I know that, brother." So sometimes when people are busy, you let them go so they can get back to you. But me and him did a couple of videos, and they went real well. And it's funny because you never know what people know how to do on a computer.
well, you also don't
You
know
know?
what people are going through. So the bullies don't realize that some kids, there's kids that get bullied and then they go home and they commit suicide. So that's why I put that youth number up. But Uncle
Because
Bruno,
most of the kids
no, go ahead.
bullying, cyberbullying is really bad right now, and it needs to stop. And that's what me and my team talk about with other teams that are part of this bully awareness, because it's sad. It really is.
Yeah, but I personally
Yeah.
know this is just my personal opinion. I just tell people to get with professionals because I will tell you this. This was something at Belmont. Do you know that when we would get permission, you had to go to 5 group meetings to get your what they called benefits, or to be able to go outside for lunch, go downstairs to the cafeteria. Well, I was shocked when I seen in a distance away a long line of kids that were abused or in some way. I don't know what their situations were, but I was just blown away. Just in one hospital, the number of kids that were seeking and getting help, and they had to keep us away from those kids because for our own protection. Because even though we weren't pedophiles, if you were near a kid and you bumped up against them or something, I think the
Yeah.
staff was really more worried about all the paperwork they were going to have to do if it happened. But you couldn't be in the lunchroom with these kids. But my point is, it was shocking to me how many kids were in the hospital. So there's obviously a lot. I mean, this whole pedophile thing with what's that guy's name? They're doing all the memes now with Epstein. How he didn't commit suicide. They claim that he was a head of a pedophile ring. Man, I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of real evil pricks out there in the world. And hopefully the good guys are going to step up to the plate. But I don't know, man. Every time you hear about bullying, I don't know if the bullies are threatening the principals or the teachers or what, but
It's
um,
gotten completely. I think obviously with social media and all the different. Nancy has 12%. She's going to be shutting down for
we're
the
going to
next.
be shutting down too. I didn't want to cut John off, but I also don't want to go too
Yeah,
long
no,
because
we'll go quick. I mean, bullying's been going on for forever. I mean, like you said, I particularly was never bullied. I probably bullied somebody in some form or way, and
I
now,
think we all have. I
you
think
know,
if we're honest, we all have in some way.
yeah, in some way. But I think back in the day, I don't know why times have changed. I mean, it just seems like the bullying has gotten completely out of hand. and that, like you say, there are way more suicides now where the kids are not getting the help that they need, and or not coming to people and explaining. In some instances, I know that I've seen some posts on Facebook, and a lot of stuff on Facebook you can't believe, but I know some parents have come on and said that their daughter or son is being bullied, and they've gone to the school, and the school says they can't do anything about it. That's bullshit. Why can't they do anything about it?
That's the thing. Hello, Chris in chat. I'm not on video right now because I didn't shave, and there's two handsome gentlemen on the screen for you to enjoy right now, Uncle Berto and Niter.
It's funny. Let's talk about this. It's a really good one because, believe it or not, when people bully you on social media, a bully's called like somebody reports your page. That's actually
Yeah, that's
considered
bullying.
bullying.
Absolutely. Anything negative can be bullying. I mean, the social media is totally, it's totally gotten out of hand.
Hey, I'll give you two names that I caught bullying
Hold on.
my bully.
I don't want to get involved in names, Niter. I don't want to get involved in names.
I don't no, but I can give you two.
Don't.
No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, but
that could be a story for another. I mean, I belong in an organization, Bikers Against Bullies, so I do belong, and occasionally we'll get together as a group of bikers and go to schools, and they'll talk to the kids and stuff, and it's just kind of cool.
Ones are about.
It brings everybody together,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to step on your toes there, but I just don't want to bring that drama.
I'm going to say their names. I won't say them on your platform.
That's fine. But anyway, I'm down to battery as well. So
listen, John, thanks for coming on. Uncle Bruno, thanks for coming on. I'm going to finish up with these phone numbers for the crisis hotlines.
And out of here. I'll see you later. And I have a Niter Exciter backup page from all my bullies. So I am who I am.
Wait, Niter, or Uncle Bruno, goodbye. I'll see you next show. Niter, go ahead and plug what you have.
Niter has to go out the right way.
How do I get out of here?
Oh, no, I'll get you out of here, Niter, but you go ahead and plug your pages or your groups. Go ahead.
Okay, I already plugged them. You're all over.
You're all over to me. Do it one more time for me.
What's that?
Do it one more time for me.
What? Cut?
No. Plug your groups and your pages on Facebook.
I did.
I just said, would you do it one more time for me? I think I talked over you, Niter. Okay, he's done. He's done playing with me. This is Big Daddy. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. Thanks for watching. This is the number for the Veterans Crisis Hotline. If you served in our military, thank you. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines. Thank you for doing what you do and did. And if you're in the military right now, God love you. Prayers for you. I agree, Chris. Bullying does need to stop. And Audrey, thanks for your input in the chat. And Nancy, thanks for everything, along with you and Uncle Bruno. Literally, you might have saved my ass. And thanks for always being there when I need you guys. I appreciate it. I really do. So that's it. I guess I'll cue up the music, and we'll stick a fork in it. I got a few more graphics. If you guys want to make the screen with some chat, I'll be happy to put you up on the screen. And please share the show if you haven't done that. That would be great. I could find some YouTube action. Get back to my music. And like I said, while the music's playing, if you want to add any comments in the chat, this is your last chance. Thanks for listening, and we appreciate it very much. This is the Big Daddy Road Show. Oh, they want me to do a survey on YouTube. Not cool. Well, I guess I better just keep talking. Again, if you're in any kind of need for crisis help, dial the number 1-800-273-8255. That's if you're in the military. Press number 1. You can also text if you're in the military. You could text any message to 838-255, and the National Youth Crisis Hotline is 800-448-4663. If you're a civilian, you could text your zip code to 211, and they will get you to somebody within probably your county, I'd assume, since we're using zip codes. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for the input in the chat. And we'll catch you hopefully, if I'm feeling good and up for it, on Wednesday with the midweek mashup. Peace.